Another day, another dawn. How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on Black Clover. I'm going to be talking about the Midnight Suns arc, which is the fourth arc in the show, or excuse me, Eye of the Midnight Sun Encounter arc. That's the full name. But I'm sorry if I sound any like raspy or low, or I guess lower than usual. I have a really bad sore throat. I don't know if it's because I'm getting sick or something, but it's hard for me to talk right now, but I really did want to talk about this because it's just it's well, I'm having such a hard time articulating this. The grind never stops, is what I'm trying to say. Even if I'm starting to get sick, even if I'm feeling down, the grind never stops. And that's actually going to tie into my next video, which I'm going to record immediately after this. But yeah, without further ado, let me get into the spoiler free section first. And then after that, it's the spoilers. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So this arc, like I said, is the fourth arc in the show, and for the manga, it should be the same thing. From what it says here, yeah, it's the same thing. And in the manga, it's 19 chapters, so it's decently long. It has a good amount to it, and then for the anime, it's only 12. So it's like if you could imagine it, this would be like a seasonal show, and that's kind of cool to think about. Like this show isn't really what's the word? Compared to how Naruto and One Piece have done it, where those are long running shows and the arcs can be really, really long. Same with Bleach. Like it's nice to have something refreshing where it's shorter, but it is a long running show, so it's more digestible. And that's why I'm able to do this series for this show because even though it's long, it has a good amount of like arcs in between. And again, I mentioned this earlier in the series, but it's not a diss against any of the shows that I've talked about because I've watched them. I know what they're like. So I'm speaking from experience and preference more than I am like, oh, this is bad and stuff like that. It's just how I prefer it. And I prefer shorter stuff because it's easier to digest, and usually that means more of a quality assurance that comes with it. Because quality over quantity is always the argument in some of these instances, and quality usually comes in shorter, controlled bursts. While quantity, when you do get quality, you're not going to get quality all the time because you're getting consistency, and consistency doesn't always mean quality. So that's just how it is, right? So the way that Black Clover, the anime at least, is handling it, I think is really cool. So I've just been enjoying that. But with this arc, I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed it compared to the last arc where I gave it a 6. This arc I'm gonna give it an 8. I feel like it was definitely a bounce back for sure. It was longer in all instances, but it felt more enjoyable than the last one. I didn't feel like it was padded out. I didn't feel like it was boring, at least in some parts. There is one part that I did find a little boring, but did not last as long as the last part where I found a good majority of that arc to be a little, like, at least a little boring. This arc, I really just enjoyed from start to finish. And while it did have like one boring section in the middle, I really enjoyed it for sure. And there was just such a good display for some characters, for the story, because we got introduced to the main villains, at least from what I can tell. Like these guys are gonna be prominent villains for a while. And I really enjoy that, so I think that's cool. You also have just seeing more characters show out, And by the way, I mentioned last episode how, oh, I think this is the arc that I remember. It was not, but I do remember this arc. It's just it was not the one I was thinking of. The arc that I'm thinking of is the one immediately after this one. So I was one arc short. Or yeah, yeah, no. I, I I don't know how the phrase goes, but I was I was wrong. It's the next one, not this one. So I mean, still, regardless, like I I enjoyed it overall. I enjoyed this arc. I feel like it had a lot to deliver, and it delivered it in spades. Funnily enough, with that pun. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely starting to pick up the show a little bit because, we're 40 episodes in, and some people may say that like, oh, it's taking so long to start to get going. Because like, if you look at it like this, 48 episodes is the amount of episodes that come out for an anime if it's a year long. and it's already almost at 48. So the fact that we're here and some people could argue that it's been boring so far, that not much has amounted to anything, or at least like have been exciting enough to really be remarkable. It's kind of like, or not kind of like, but it's kind of rough. You can't wholeheartedly say that Black Clover right now has been peak fiction, which kind of sucks because I am genuinely enjoying it. But is it because of the nostalgia, or is it because I'm genuinely enjoying it? It's I would say it's because I'm enjoying it, but if I look back on it and I rewatch it and I see like, oh shoot, maybe it was just a nostalgia because it's been a long time. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that's not what's gonna happen. I'm gonna believe, and I'm gonna give the show the benefit of the doubt because a part of me genuinely likes it. That's the end of the day. It's just how it goes. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have watched it, right? But overall, that that's a rant aside. This show, I know it's going to get good, and it is getting better. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it hasn't been improving. So I gotta give it its props, you know. I gotta give it its kudos, I guess. So yeah, that's my rating on it. That's an 8. And let me get into the spoiler stuff. Spoiler free section over. So this arc takes place immediately after the invasion of the capital because we follow that with Finral, Asta, and Luck going on a mixer to find some woman, you know. And this is all Finral's idea. It's not Asta or Luck's. They got invited because they are the least like weird, or not weird, but they're the least offensive out of everybody there. They're inoffensive, is what I'm trying to say. Like you have Ghosh, who is has a sister complex. You have Magna, he's a bit of a dork. I'm not even gonna lie. He's a tough guy, but he's a bit of a dork. You have Gordon, who's weird. You have the other guy, I forgot his name, but the mouth breather. That's not to be insulting, but he literally is a mouth breather. And just who else is in the Black Bulls? Oh, Yami, he wouldn't be good either. Just yeah, people like that, like they wouldn't be good. But Luck and Asta, like they both have that youthful spirit vibe to them, and also they're not as bad. Except for Luck, he is a battle freak, but he does look good, so it's like it is what it is. But funnily enough, Finral was 21, Luck is 18, and Asta is 15. And that was so surprising to me. Like I knew Asta was 15, right? Like they introduced that in the beginning of the show. But the fact that Luck is 18, I thought he was like 16 or 17 or something. But nah, that man is 18 years old. And Finral, 21, like I can see that. I can definitely see that. I I feel like he definitely gave me like a 20s, like early 20s, if not mid 20s vibe. Vanessa, excuse me, Vanessa gives me like a late 20s vibe. Magna gives me like 23, 24 type thing. And Charmy feels like she's like around Asta to Lux age, so like maybe under 20s, maybe like 19 or something. Oh, which is it is cool learning about these characters, you know, it's just really cool. But they go to the mixer, they meet all these characters, which one of them actually being one of the girls that Seke was flirting with in the beginning of the show, Rebecca, I think is her name. So it's cool that she comes back, but her and Asta kick it off. Uh, Finral and Luck kick it off with some other girls, and Noelle is actually stalking them because she wants to see what Asta's doing, and she's a tsundere, so it's hard for her to actually just ask to be invited. But regardless, it was a nice scene with Asta and Rebecca, just them relating over the fact that they both have a lot of siblings. Asta being an orphan, while Rebecca being a genuine older sister. So it was a nice way to bond, and they kind of make a connection, you know. And Noelle's like, oh, they're gonna fall in love. I hate this. What's going on? And then you have Rebecca like, oh, am I falling in love? What's happening? But remember, Asta's 15. This is not okay. This is not okay at all. Sorry if I sound a little again low, by the way. Like it's because of my throat, which is again it's crazy because I'm talking lower than I would even like normally, and that's already impressive because I already talk so low in my videos normally. I wonder how it's gonna sound when when I upload this video and it releases. I wonder how it's gonna sound if it's gonna be ASMR. Also, it's nighttime when I'm recording this, like almost midnight. So that's also adding into like the ASMR effect of it. I'm not trying to do this, I promise. And I'm sorry if it weirds you out or anything like that, but it's just how it is right now. But anyways, so yeah, that mixer's done. They go back to the Black Bulls, and this is where the arc truly starts, where Yami is just like, "Yo, you guys all have days off. Here's your money. Get out of my face." And so Asta decides to ask Magna to take him to this village, and Noelle follows behind them, again not asking to join them because she's stalking Asta. And he goes over to the village where Rebecca's at because she asked if he could come over one day, and he promised it, so he's here. And they're chilling, they're having a good time. And just so happens that this is also the village where Ghosh, his sister, lives. So it he's the member of the Black Bulls that we're gonna be with here now. So we had Magna, we had Luck, we had Vanessa, we had Charmy, and now we have Ghosh. And Ghosh is a character that for sure I wanted to learn a lot more about because it felt like he was with Gordon and the other guy where they just were guy characters so we wouldn't learn much about them, which kind of sucks because I want to learn as much as I can about the Black Bulls. And it also sucks because Gordon's voice it's barely audible. So the fact that I'm watching it in English dub means that I don't get subtitles, and that I'm not able to hear what he's saying. So it whatever he's saying is just literally he's talking, and that's it. Nothing can be heard. It sucks. I really wish I could hear him, but regardless, Asta's there. He goes to see Rebecca. They're having a good time. Turns out that Rebecca's little siblings also know Ghosh's sister, Marie, and Marie actually said that she wants to marry Asta. And as soon as Ghosh is just like, "Oh yeah, you're dead. You're dead. I'm gonna kill you, bro. I'm gonna kill you." And so he's now just trying to do that throughout the entire arc. And Rebecca asked if he could sleep the night if Asa can stay. He's like, yeah, sure, you know, why not? I don't mind. So it's my day off, so why not enjoy it, right? And so they're there, they're chilling. Noelle's still there, and she's just like, she's dumbfounded by this. Everything's going crazy. It's hilarious. But Noelle notices something. She notices some children going into like a daze, a transient, or not transient state, but in a daze. And they're going over to this cave. And Marie and Rebecca's children are in there, or not children, or siblings. They're in this pile. And so she's like, oh shoot, I gotta tell these guys. And so she walks in there, she tells them, and it's like, oh, whoa, this is happening. And so Asta and Ghosh go over there, and Sister Teresa is actually the person taking care of Marie, and she goes with them as well, because this is like the whole village, like every single person that has a child, their child is in there. So those three go in there to find the children, and it turns out that it's this group of people, like two, well not group, but it's a duo. It's two brothers who are trying to siphon mana from children to give it to the Midnight Suns. They're hired. They're contracted basically, and one of them is getting picked on by the older brother, but the older brother has that thing of like, oh, I protected you when you were younger. You know, like we're brothers at the end of the day, familial bonds type stuff. But the guy getting picked on, like he has some issues. He has some definite issues, but he has a good heart at the bottom of it all, right? But they show up, they fight them, and this is where the boring part starts because this fight between these two guys and Asta and Ghosh is really boring. So I just didn't really care much about it. And then one of the Midnight Suns, the other girl who with the glasses who wants to dissect Asta shows up and she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn you into mud." And then he turns or she turns one of the guys, the older brother, into mud. Meanwhile, the other guy's just like, "Brother, you're dead." No, it's no use. Like he has a silver voice. It's hilarious. But his brother gets turned into mud. Asta and Ghost manage to beat him, and Sister Teresa is actually escorting all the children out of the cave because her magic is like a flame magic, and she can turn it into a leopard. And so she's using the leopard to carry out all the children outside of the cave. By the way, it's snowing outside, so they should have gotten like frostbite, but they never did. So it's like that's kind of funny, and it just looking back on it. But yeah, so they're escorting all the children. They managed to beat him, and his little brother's just there defeated. He's like, I didn't want to do this. I did not want to hurt these children. I just wanted some friends. And then Asta's just like, all right, well, if you can reform yourself, then I'll be your friend. He's like, really? Lit. Then let me go do that. Let me go turn myself in. And so he goes to with the children, and they go back to the village. And what's his face? The Midnight Suns show up, more than just one of them, because they also beat the girl with the glasses, and also Finral and Yami show up because Noel called for backup, and Seke was the one who managed to send over the message. So those two show up, and now Yami is over here just ready for beef, bro, because the leader of the Midnight Suns showed up, and yeah, that was just it. It was just the leader. Oh no, no, the leader and the second in command, basically. And so it's Asta and it's Asta and Yami right now. Ghosh went to go escort his little sister out, and he's protecting her right now. So there, he's there, and then Asta's here, all this stuff. And actually, he came back, by the way. He went to go escort his sister, came back, helped Asta defeat the mud monster, then left because he was dying, and Sister Teresa as well. They also got they got cooked by the leader because he showed up before Yami did. Then Yami showed up. That's how the events go. So Yami and the leader now are fighting. Asta and the second in command are fighting. Really cool fight. Really really cool fight. Like when Yami and the Licht, which is the name of the guy, he when they show up is when the arc really starts getting crazy. So I was enjoying it a lot. But you know, Asta over here is learning from Yami how yo you gotta learn to use your assets. You gotta learn to use your body because you have no magic. So what else can you do but use your body? You know, you can't rely on just your weapon to win battles. You gotta learn on relying on your body, which you do to some extent, but you gotta learn to rely on it more. What he means by this is he's learning to use ki. I was gonna say kai, but it's ki. And ki, in a sense, is basically like you're 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 feeling the ki of a person. You're feeling the life force, the energy of a person, and not like magic wise, not like magically. You're feeling it off of the aura that they give as a human being, as a person, as a living thing. So imagine like, oh, actually, you can kind of feel it in real life where you're sitting next to a person, you can hear them breathing, you can see them using their eyes, you can feel their warmth if they're warm, they're cold, or well their lack of warmth if they're cold, all this stuff. Like you can tell somebody is alive by their small mannerisms and just habits that they have in their body. That is just human nature. Like you can genuinely do that. It's true. So they're using that in a sense to predict where things are going to go and how attacks are going to come. So that's how Yami's like so good at using his sword because he can predict where things are coming from because he's actually from a different country. He's a foreigner. He's a foreigner. So he learned Ki from his foreign country, or excuse me, his home country. So when he showed up in the Clover Kingdom, he was already ahead of the curve because nobody knows like Ki in this country. So Asta's getting like an A1 lesson here, and it's cool. You know, I really enjoyed that. But Yami basically beats Licht, and Asta beats the second in command. I forgot his name, but then the dogs, the Punjabi hounds, show up. There's three people who are underneath Licht, but they're actually stronger than him. And Yami's tired. He's beat. Asta's already beat because he's gone through two fights already. Like the man's done. He's cooked. And the next thing you know, Charlotte, Nozel, and Jack the Ripper show up. Three captains from the Magic Knight squad. And it's super cool. It's genuinely super cool. So we finally get to see Charlotte in the form that I like her the most. And it's her being like Noelle or Mimosa, where she likes this boy, but she doesn't know how to express herself. Mimosa is the best of all of them because she knows how to express herself, at least in terms of like the race. But Charlotte is just like them, and it's so adorable. Like, and that's not to be like reductive where Charlotte isn't a strong character. Like, no, she is. It's just that it's a nice personality trait that I like, you know. And it's just how I like my characters sometimes. So I think it's adorable. But yeah, so she likes Yami. Jack the Ripper wants to kill Yami because he's just insane. Like the man is literally insane. And you have Noel, or not Noel, Nozel, who he just looks down on people. He's like Byakuya from Bleach, bro. Except Byakuya, I forgot who voices him, but his voice is like butter, bro. Oh man. Which, funnily enough, I wouldn't be surprised if Nozel was like inspired by Byakuya Kuchiki. Well, I say Togami, wrong guy. But yeah, so they show up and they start beefing with these guys. That's my alarm. Sorry about that. But yeah, so they start beefing with these guys. It's pretty cool, really cool fight. But everybody in the village now has their children back. Noelle's just there like, dang, I wish I could have gone and invited over there. I would have wanted to see Asta. And she's like, wait, but I don't care about Asta. Why do I care? And then the the three guys fighting are all still like fighting their captains, and Yami actually goes over to Licht because he's still awake, he's still alive and well. So he goes over to finish him off. uh, Asta's actually right behind him, so they're about to do like a double attack on him. And because Asta hit him with his sword, which is like the magic canceling, bro, he actually canceled a seal that was put on Licht. So it was like a limiter. It was like weighted clothing. So it removed that seal, and now he's mad strong, and he was about to blow up the whole thing. But the three guys actually had to seal like again because if he did that, they all would have died, every single one of them. So they got lucky and they ran away. So Charlotte, Jack, Nozel, not Noel, and Yami are all just there like, bro, that's crazy. We just got lucky. We survived. And then Finra, Ghosh, because he came back actually in a really crucial moment of the arc, and Asta, Yami are all just chilling like, bro, this is fire. We won. We just did it. We actually won. And that's the end of that part of the arc. There's still a little bit more like the epilogue, but that's the end of that. Really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable. Let me get into the epilogue. So Asta passes out and he's been asleep for like a day. Mimosa, and Klaus actually found him because they were sent to back them up, but everything subsided after that. So they were there. It's just basically like, oh, we're gonna carry you back to safety, and they're chatting it up about everything, and it's just like if I was there, I would have made sure they didn't escape. And Asta's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna be the Wizard King. Uh, Fat L, you're a bozo. And they're just over there like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Mimosa's over here being really cute, hugging Asta and everything. It's just adorable. I really like Mimosa. But yeah, so the next day, Asta and Yami get summoned to the capital, where a bunch of other captains get summoned, and Asta's there as in for an interrogation with Marks and the Wizard King Julius. And so he's helping them while the captains are talking and just thinking about all this stuff. And I really like the captains. The Orcas guy, annoying. Well, not annoying, but just like, we didn't see him much. I like Jack the Ripper. I like Shadow a lot. I like Yami a lot. Probably my favorite, honestly. Nozel, starting to like him more. Fagolion was probably my favorite, but then he got cooked. It's like, dang, that sucks. But Fagolion was genuinely, I really enjoyed him. He was so cool. Like, man, I wish we could have seen more of him. We genuinely wish we could have. But you have Dorothy, I think is her name. She's asleep all the time, so she barely has a character. You have the blue-haired guy who's a painter. I think he's cool. And just overall, oh yeah, the golden deer guy. I forgot his name, but yeah, he's there too. He's cool. I feel like he's the traitor, like not like the immediate traitor, because we know that's the Orcus guy, but I think he's the second traitor. I feel like he has light magic, and is with the Midnight Suns, but I don't know. Maybe that's too on the nose. Maybe that's not what was planned. But yeah, so Julius summons everybody, and they find out that the Orcus guy is the traitor, because the whole meeting was to find out who the traitor was, and they find him, they beat him, they interrogate him, they find out about his heinous crimes, and they're gonna punish him. But Yami and Asta stay while everybody else leaves, and they're just like, or Julius is just like, all right, I'm gonna need you guys to do something for me, please. And basically, he's just like, go to the sea temple, because I think this is where the thing is next, like the things that they're looking for, because they have a tablet, and they're gonna use it to be reborn, or at least that's what they say. It's kind of like a religion type thing, or a religious edict in a sense. and they need gemstones, like important gemstones, and one of them was on Frigolion, so that's why they needed him. But yeah, so they're gonna go to the Sea Temple next, and that's the next arc. The arc that I definitely know I was thinking about, for sure, for sure. And I'm excited for that. I'm super excited to see what happens next, and just overall, this arc was great. I feel like it was really enjoyable. It was an 8 out of 10 for sure. I'm definitely gonna give it like a praising rating for sure. But MVP was definitely, excuse me, it was definitely. I feel like it was a tie between Yami and Ghosh. I feel like those two really came up and it was just like, bro. Actually, nah, I'm gonna give it to Yami. Yami overall is just a great character this arc. Second place was definitely Ghosh, and then third place was Asta for sure. But story, it was good. I feel like it was really good, and it's kicking the show into high gear, really just like giving us more to go off of, and we're having a plot really like tied together, where we see things, what's it called, string together, and overall how they connect to see how things are. It's cool. I think it's really cool. But yeah, animation, it's getting better. Not the best that it could be, but it is getting better. So I'm excited to see what peak fiction we're gonna see next. Because I do remember this is still in the I've watched this before area. So we're getting close. We're getting closer and closer to the I don't know what's gonna happen next territory. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for me for now. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoy. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace. Oh well, yeah. I forgot. We're gonna talk about the Sea Temple next time. So see you all in the next video. Peace.